A Pulitzer Prize photo that was supposed to be the most iconic photo of our generation that was taken on July 4th of 2026 that represented the state of affairs in America in current times has now largely been forgotten in less than a week. Oh, right at a week now, the photo has been forgotten. Most people forgot about it and they moved on to the next best topic. But this was supposed to be the photo that changed the world, and it was going to become a Pulitzer Prize winning photo. It was taken by a Reuters photographer who happened to be on the public transit when the organization known as Patriot Front, a supposed white supremacist organization that was heading down to DC to march on the streets for whatever reason, I don't know, so happened to get on public transport with a black woman who we now know as Bernita Bowlding, is a single mother of two, and she's struggling with mental health issues. This photo had the internet losing their freaking minds. I remember when I first saw the photo, I did what I always do, took a deep breath and said, there's got to be more to the story. And as the story began to unfold, quickly, things took a hard right, literally, for those who were on the left and claiming that this photo was proof of everything that's wrong with America today. Man, listen, here's the thing, y'all. We're going to talk about it now that the dust is settled. Everything's calm, and I'm going to give y'all my unbiased thoughts. My first thought when I saw this photo was the woman has a look on her face that says, I'm tired of life. She looks like she's tired. She looks like she's exhausted. She looks like she's meh in life. That's what it looks like. That's what I see when I see this woman's face. Then I see people standing around her who, if I didn't know that they told me that that was Patriot Front, I would have no clue who these people were. It looks like just a group of people who got masks on, like a bunch of groups of people who run around with masks on. When they try to push their ideology and agendas, they wear masks. They hide their faces. It's pretty pathetic, but that's what it looked like to me. So I'm like, just another group hiding their faces. What am I supposed to feel about this? So I took a deep breath and waited for a couple of days to pass. And as days passed, more information began to unfold. Come to find out, this lady, Bernita Bowlding, was also arrested for defecating on public transit. She took a poop on a bus, and there was also video of her losing her mind or out of her mind. No matter how you look at it, when you see the video of her on the ground in the bus with her shorts pulled down to roughly her knees, and she's thrusting her butt in the air and screaming on the bus, it's not a good look to the people who are claiming that this woman is going to be the icon of the generation to come, that this is the next Rosa Parks. Bernita Bowlding. She is honestly the victim in this whole situation, and the victims aren't the people who they created as the perpetrators. The perpetrators are the media. The media took this woman's private life and threw it all over the internet, and now everybody in the world is talking about Bernita Bowlding taking a poop on the bus, or Bernita Bowlding being the next hero, even though the hero talk went from decibel levels of a jet engine to decibel levels of a mouse's voice. I researched it today before I started making this video, and information on Bernita Bowlding has, that's right, it shrunk drastically. I can't find much on this woman now. Not much people talking about her. Her brother said that she struggled with mental health issues. And if you know anything about mental health, people who struggle with mental health issues don't want no spotlight on them. And when they get the spotlight on them, they don't react the same way someone who would react, who's in their right mind, would react to having a spotlight placed on them. To take the spotlight and place it on a person with mental health issues shows that the news media And I'm not going to beat the photographer up too much about the photo because he could not have possibly known, in my opinion. Maybe he did. I don't know, because the theories can go deep and wide depending how far you want to go down the rabbit hole. But I think he just happened to snap the photo of the woman who was on the bus because he was following the organization known as Patriot Front around. I believe the Reuters photographer was following him. He was with them every step of the way. He was waiting for a moment. He got his moment. Snap, snap, took some pictures. Just so happens that they tried to say this woman was in extreme danger. Well, from the video that I saw, we can't ignore the fact that the woman looked like she was clearly out of her mind. And then when we hear her brother speak, he says, yes, she does have mental health issues. He admits to it. She's trying to get help for mental health issues. I'm coming at this from a sympathetic point of view that, you know what, maybe we need to back up off Bernita. Because like I said, if you know anybody who struggles with mental health, they don't deal with this stuff too well. So it's disrespectful and dangerous to put this woman in a spotlight like the news media did. They weren't considering what she was going through. I know my brother struggled with mental health, and he was homeless, and he was unbearable at times. And people with mental health issues are unbearable a lot. It's hard to deal with. You can't reason with them often. And so we're taking a person with mental health issues and we're trying to put them into a spotlight, and they're making her a hero. And I think to call Bernita Bowlding a hero is selfish, and it's disingenuous. Nothing that she did on that bus that day made her a hero. If anything, that was the safest bus ride. If that was the case, let's just say that the Patriot Front, the white supremacist organization known as Patriot Front, they prove that it's very safe to ride on a bus with Patriot Front. Nothing will happen to you. You will be well protected. Nothing happened. It was completely uneventful, other than the fact that they created it and manufactured it. And that's what I think it is. I think it's manufactured fear and manufactured racism, because if they don't have videos to show you of people being racist, then how can they continue to push the racist narrative? And there is a racist narrative because racism makes people lots of money, lots of cash. They have to push the narrative. Plus, it helps them get their agenda passed. And mindless people who don't think past go can't look at this and see what's going on. I don't trust the Patriot Front as far as you could see them. And what I mean by that, I don't trust them to be an authentic white supremacist organization. I have no issue with calling out real white supremacist organizations. But everything about Patriot Front to me says feds. It does not pass the test. The eye test, it just doesn't pass it. The ear test, the discernment test, it doesn't pass it. Everything about this organization seems off. And from what I understand, everybody who is supposed to be connected to this organization by being conservative disavows this organization. I've even seen where the Proud Boys, another supposed hateful group, fought Patriot Front. That's right, they got in a fight with them. And supposedly Proud Boys are supposed to be white supremacists too. And I've personally seen people on YouTube who claim to be Proud Boys, and they are of Hispanic heritage and other nationalities. It's not a white organization. It's a mixed organization. Now, I believe the Proud Boys is mostly organic, and probably they have feds in them now. But I think Patriot Front is 99.9% feds. Or I think that it may have started out with one person creating this. Feds took a hold of it real quick and allowed it to blossom and bloom. And then now the feds are pulling fools in who ain't no real white supremacists going to connect themselves to Patriot Front, y'all. Come on, man. We got to be able to think smarter. We know that there are white supremacist organizations. They're prison gangs on the West Coast, the Aryan Brotherhood, the Nazi lowriders. These organizations really exist. You got the Texas Aryan Brotherhood, and you have neo-Nazis spread out intermittently throughout the country. But for the most part, there's no big white supremacist organization outside of the criminal underworld inside the prison systems, where they created themselves. And we know if you follow crime in prison, you know anything about the crime in prison genre, that the Aryan Brotherhood and those white organizations who are inside the prison system are also competing against other race created organizations such as the Blacks and the Mexicans and the others. And so that's just the way it works in prison. But this photo right here of this woman on this bus, I believe, is completely manufactured, man. And I don't think it's iconic. I don't think she's a hero. In fact, I think that she's a victim. And I think she's a victim to the media for putting her on blast, because this woman, from the time that this picture was taken, there's been very little information on her whereabouts. Her brother said she showed up once since the photo was taken, and then she disappeared again. And that is proof to me that this lady is struggling with mental health issues. The mental health crisis is real. People suffer severe and traumatic brain injuries like my brother did. And when that happens, and it can happen in different ways, it could be from blunt force trauma, or it can be from substance abuse, or it can be from a biological reaction to something. The mind is a sensitive and soft organism inside our head. And anything that can go wrong with it can cause mental health inside of a person, and it can go bad. And I believe that nobody took time to consider. Now this woman's on the street, and this woman, and you know what? They're going to move on to the next big story. And this woman's still going to be struggling out there in the streets with her mental health crisis. And she's just going to be forgotten about. And her image is plastered everywhere. And it's just a sad situation, man. We live in a sad world, man. We want racism to be real, and there is racism. There's racism, and you have to be aware of where you're going. I was recently me and my wife was talking to a friend of ours. She is a black female, and she told her brother she was going door dashing. And her brother said, "Who?" She said, "I'm going door dashing for a side hustle." He said, "Man, you better have your blaster on you. You got your piece on you? You got your license, permit to carry?" And she's like, "No." He's like, "You don't need to be door dashing." She said, "Why not?" She said, "You're going up in them projects in them bad neighborhoods." And he wasn't talking about white neighborhoods. He was talking about black neighborhoods. He was worried about his black sister, a black brother, telling his black sister, "I don't want you door dashing in the middle of the night going in them black neighborhoods. That's dangerous." That was the conversation that was presented, and her dilemma was told to us. Should she keep door dashing? Of course, we said, yes, you have a right to DoorDash. You should keep DoorDashing. Whether you want to keep your blaster or not, that's your constitutional right. That's on you. I DoorDash, and I don't have one because, of course, I'm a convicted felon. So I got to roll the dice and trust that the good Lord got my protection when I drop food off in bad neighborhoods. But to say that this woman was in danger, I think the narrative was flipped behind the situation, because if anything, it proved that she was extremely safe, riding a bus with a bunch of supposed white nationalists, feds. And that's why she was so protected. There wasn't no but feds in there, man. This was all plants. And if you don't think otherwise, I don't know what to tell you, man. You have a right to think what you want. That's what I think. Do I have proof on it? No, we don't have proof on a lot of things. You just go with your gut on it. But I wouldn't touch Patriot Front with a 1,000-foot pole, because there's so many feds in that, in my opinion, that you would be a fool. Anyway, thanks for watching The Pen and the Shank, the most unusual and unique crime and prison channel experience on YouTube. Man, share in the comments below. What do you think about the situation with Bernita Bowlding, mental health, Patriot Front? It's whatever you want to think. That's what we do, but we respect each other's thoughts here, man. Let's get it.